I'm going to show you alternates to the defensive wall that you can use to keep enemies out of your base. A lot of these will work even better than a defensive wall, and some of these will not only work better than a defensive wall, they'll also use less logs, which will make it easier to build a perimeter around your base. Before we start, a few things you need to know about. Enemies can spawn pretty much right next to you. So no matter what you build, there's always a chance that an enemy will just spawn right next to you. I've literally had one spawn from here to that building of me before. Very rare for it to be that close though. But the bigger your base is, the more and more likely it becomes that an enemy will spawn directly inside of it. Also, I haven't seen it myself because I haven't had a whole lot of time to test it personally, but I've been told that zombies and cannibals, whatever, mutants, can actually climb over these defensive walls, which is why it's important to know the alternatives that I'm going to show you. So the first one I'm going to show you is going to be the most effective other than the little baby crawler things. So there's a trick you can do that'll keep them out as long as you don't get too close to the wall. Generally, if you get really close to the wall, they'll try to attack you, which will lead to them attacking the wall. So you're going to decide which way you want the wall to go. So let's say something like this. We're going to run it along this way. This one's a little tricky, so you might want to have some serious practice building before trying this type of thing. So what we're going to try to do here is, you see, if we build near this, it won't let us build. So what we can attempt to do is build kind of near this as soon as it lets us build something like this. And then what we want to do is try to get this arrow to where it'll place it right here where I'm looking. Now, sometimes it'll cross it and make a beam larger than a beam can actually be. Like, you can actually make beams of increased length by doing this. But once it gets messed up, then it'll only pivot to those angles. So you'll have to pick this back up, and you'll just have to keep on trying until you can get it to where it lets you do it without connecting to that. Like that. Perfect. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to grab more logs, and then you're going to prop up the end. So once you prop the end up, you don't need this one anymore, and you don't need this one. Now what you're going to do is you're going to place this one like this. And you're going to keep doing this in a perimeter around your base. This is effectively the new wall for your base. So let's try to do another one real fast. Get this process down for you. So something like that. Sure, why not? That works for me. Good enough. So now we're going to grab some logs. And we're going to prop up that end. Make sure you got the correct end when all these ends are in here. It's get a little messy in here. All right, pick it up, and then we're going to place it like that, let's say. And you're just going to keep on repeating this process until you have a perimeter around your base. At least right now in early access, the cannibals cannot figure this one out. And if you actually get it good enough, like this one right here, if you take your time and get it this close, even the little baby crawlers may not be able to get through once you have the entire perimeter set like that. So if you make a wall like this, you're good to go. Just keep your distance, because if the zombies or cannibals, are like standing on the other side, not knowing what to do, and you get really close, they'll attack at you and get stuck inside the wall, and then just start swinging at the wall and stuff. And they may still attack the wall, so they don't do it very often. But you'll still have to defend your base. Another insane thing about this one is, unlike the other defensive wall where you have to get up and look over, this one you can just directly shoot at them while they're just standing on the other side of the wall. So it's overall a much better alternative than an actual defensive wall, and it uses significantly less wood. You're literally going to use like less than half as much wood as a normal defensive wall by building this. So another alternative to a defensive wall that actually just works for some reason is you can place one of these, and then you can, near this one, as soon as it lets you place it, just do that, and then it'll freely let you place one over to get it closer to the one you just had. Then you'll prop this up. And then you'll pick these two up, and then you'll set this one down. And you'll just do this everywhere in your base, and it will confuse the cannibals, and they won't know how to get through this. As long as you have these close enough. If you have these too far apart, they may figure it out. But as long as those are close enough together, then generally speaking, the cannibals will have absolutely no idea how to get in. And then also on top of that, the really nice thing about this one is you can just walk in whenever you want, while they can't figure it out. So instead of like the other one where it's just like you kind of gotta figure out how to get under and in all sorts of stuff, this one, this one, you can just get in by just literally walking in. Or if you make it close enough, there are little ramps, and then you can just run at one and just come over like that, you know. Or any individual ones, you can just come over like that. At least right now. Someday they may upgrade the AI in this game, But as of right now, in early access, when this game first came out, the AI has absolutely no idea what to do about these things. So you can just put them down, and it's even better than a wall. And just like the other one, this one will generally use less logs than a defensive wall, but it'll still use more logs than the other one, probably, depending on how close together you put them. But yeah, that should just keep the cannibals out generally, as long as you have them close enough together. Also, when you want to do the corner for one of these, you're going to do a similar process. So instead, you're just going to make it come in and around like this a little bit more. And then you're going to bring it in again. And then you're going to grab more logs. Let me just throw some logs over there. We're going to need a few for this corner. Okay, so then we're going to prop it up. And then we're going to take these down. And then we're going to put one on like this. And we're going to put one on like this. And that is how you can do the corner. Now, if you feel like this is not safe enough, you feel like it might slip through, you can also additionally put one in right here. And then you could do the same thing again, like this. And then pick them up, and then in the corner do that, just to try to guarantee that they don't come in as much as possible. Or finagle with it any which way you want. But generally speaking, they won't be able to figure out how to get in with something like that. So that's how you'll do the corners. And then you'll continue that process like I just showed you in order to keep on doing more walls. The next alternative to defensive wall is these actual spikes on the ground, because not only will it stop them from getting in if you have enough of them, but it also will eventually kill the enemy that's trying to get in. So these things you can do by putting a stick in the ground and then swapping to the axe and then chopping the top off in the direction you want it to go. Now, if you put enough layers of these, not only will it kill them, but they won't even be able to glitch through. So ideally, you'll put multiple rows of these. Just be careful not to touch them, because if you touch them, they disappear. So I have this one right here, but I might want to leave a decent gap and then put another one out here. And then I could, if it'll let me, chop this one and then just try to make another layer out here. If you have 2 layers thick, then you should be good in most cases. And in that case, you probably won't even need actual walls if you have these thick enough. Like, even this guy just died like it was nothing. So right now, at least in this version, these are extremely overpowered. I have a hunch that in a later patch, they'll probably end up nerfing these somehow. But right now, they're probably actually your strongest bet, because not only does it basically give you walls, it makes it so you don't even have to watch out for enemies, because they'll just kill themselves on accident, basically. And the last one that I want to mention is if you are going to build defensive walls, you could just make something like this to keep the crawlers out. If you get really close to it, a crawler could probably jump over little baby things, you know what I'm talking about? They could probably jump over them, but this will keep them from crawling into the base, and it'll use less resources to do it. So if you combined a short wall like this with wall spikes like this or something, you can make your base pretty invulnerable for significantly less resources. One thing I want to add in here real quick was after I slept, or maybe it's because I ran really far away and came back, suddenly these stick spikes are solid now, even to me, and I don't knock them over. I can actually hurt myself and even die on them. So keep that in mind. They can become lethal. And also in multiplayer, I'm not sure how the nuances of it will work as far as who takes damage and who doesn't from these things. But yeah, even as the host, if you, I guess, sleep or something, then they become solid. You can also injure yourself on them. And that about wraps it up, guys. I hope this video helps you out. Some of these ideas can give you ideas of what to do with your base, what you want to do. The best one, in my opinion, was the very first one I showed you. It seems to work the best. But also the wall, like little spike things, they're honestly the best because I'll kill them for you. But at the cost of you have to go gather like 1 trillion sticks to get it set up, which is kind of annoying. But I mean, I guess is it really any worse than logs, though, if you're not doing log dupes at least. But yeah, hopefully it helped you out, guys. That's my alternatives to defensive walls. Maybe I'll make another one later, but for now, these are the best ones I got. Hopefully it helps you out. Also, check out the description of this video for more helpful Sons of the Forest videos. I got tons of other helpful videos, advanced build guides, all sorts of cool stuff in there. And also, if you want to support me, just check out Art Gallery Simulator on Steam. There's a link for that in the description of this video. Just go check it out and wishlist it, and that would help me out a lot. But that's it, guys. This has been my defensive wall alternatives video. Hopefully helped you out, and now you have better ideas on how to make walls in Sons of the Forest.